All right. Today we're learning Parshas Noach. So in chapter 8, Posuk 19, it says like this. After the Mabul was over, we're going to read in Shabbos about the Mabul. And Hashem told Noach you could go out of the Teva, and he told him like this. It says the Posuk like this. Pasuk Yitches, one pasuk before. Vayetze Noach u'bonav Ishto and Shabonav Itoy. They all got out of the Teva, the whole Noach and his mishpacha. Then it says in pasuk 19, Kol hachayim, kol remes v'kol oif, kol remes al oretz, meaning all the animals and all the flies and the birds. L'mishpachosayim yotzu min Teva. They came out with their families out of the ark.
Oh, the birds.
Yes. Now, what kind of bird animals have? We have a husband, a wife, a child, a cousin. What kind of families the animals have? L'mishpachosayim.
The mates.
So Rashi says, Kiblu alayim. The meaning all the animals, the birds, and all of them, they accepted upon themselves. Kiblu alayim. Almanas. We're coming out of the ark now. We're coming out of the Tevas Noach. Lidovek b'minon. We're not gonna, like before the Mabul, there was such a corruption. There was such an abomination. The people were immoral, unethical, including the animals. Right now at the Mabul, there went such a big change in the world, a big destruction, a big purification. They decided we're going to come out and behave ourselves. We're going to be mishpacha. We're going to belong to our families. We're not going to mess around.
Yeah.
So that's la mishpachoy seihem. They're going to keep their family values. They're going to keep their family standards. Kibulu aleim. Again, they accept upon themselves almanas lidovek b'minon. They're going to be sticking to each other the way they should. I'm sure many of you read this Rashi many times. I read this Rashi many times.
Not me.
Okay, and it's never. I never saw over here that never nothing blinked on me over here. Today, when I read this, I said, first of all, the animals have all the laws we have. We have the laws for the Jews, 613 mitzvahs. For the going, we have 7. One of them is keeping morality, the laws of morality. Fine. Animals have 0. There's no mitzvahs for them. The animals. That's why they call them animals. People say behave like an animal. So, what was wrong with them? What did they do wrong that they have to fix? That's one. The second thing is, how could an animal accept some values, some standards, some acceptance? Kibul aleim. Who kibul aleim? The cow. The cow was walking out of the Tevas Noach, and it was saying, I'm going to stick to my family. I'm not going to mess around like they did before the Mabul. It's a cow. It's a lion. It's a leopard. And all the animals. It's a rooster. So what's the pshat? Kiblu aleim. They accept that among themselves. Many times we say such a thing, like the Roa Hayom Vayonos, the ocean saw, and then he ran away. So it says the yom meaning of the angel of the ocean, or the angel of the animal. You could say that, meaning the angel of those, every creation over here has an angel, every nation every creation has an angel, and maybe the angels of those animals, like we say Perek Shiro, by Perek Shiro, you see the animals singing. The animals don't know how to sing, they have no seichel, meaning their animal, where their origin. So you could say their origin accepted upon themselves now that we're going to behave ourselves. Yeah, but, okay, and how the origin would influence them. Okay, let's say the Malach decided we're going to behave. That's the Malach going to behave. What about the animal down here? How are they going to be? So that's the question is, the Torah told them they got out of the Tevas Noach, l'mishpachosayim, yotzu min Teva. Again, all these animals, they came out as a family standards, family values, family purity. So, kibulu al-mali dabek bezoram. Who kibulu? They cannot do it. And if the angel accepted, how is it going to affect them? So that's a question I had today, and we could maybe come up with such an answer. There's a Gemara in the end of Maseches Sukkah. The Gemara says it's not exactly what we're talking about, but we could a good start from there. The Gemara at the end of Sukkah is saying there was a family in time of Beis Hamikdash. The Gemara says, Miriam Bas Bilga. There was a woman by the name Miriam Bas Bilga. Shehemira Dosa. She went away from Yiddishkeit. She went to another religion. Hemira Dosa. She got married to somebody from the house of the kings of the Greeks, one of the big people over there. We're talking about over here now in the era of Hanukkah. It was about the middle of the second Beis Hamikdash, about approximately 200 years after it was built, approximately 200 before it was destroyed. So this Bilga, she got married to the Malcha Yevon. When they came to the Hechel, time of the story of the Chanukah, when they came to Beis Hamikdash, Hoysum va'etes besandola. She went together with them to conquer, to take over the Beis Hamikdash with the Greeks. She was on the other side now. She's fighting her own Jewish brothers. When she went to Beis Hamikdash, she started beating with her shoes on the Mizbeach. V'omra, Lukus, that's a wolf. She told the Mizbeach, you're a wolf. How much you're taking away the Jewish money, meaning all the karbonos. Cost a lot of money. They're bringing it to you for sacrifice. Now they need your help because the Yevonim, the Greeks, coming to conquer them, and you're not protecting them. Where all the nation they brought till today, all the sacrifices, you're not standing up. So she called them as just a wolf that just eats and just takes his prey, and that doesn't give you nothing in return. When our sages heard that that's how Bilga, Miriam, Bas Bilga, the Miriam, the daughter of Bilga, that's how she speaks. Kovu estabato v'sosmus chaloino. They appointed them where they're going to be always. When we're talking about now. She was not Stam Miriam's daughter. She was from the family of Kohanim, and they had 24 families coming to work. The groups of 24 families, each group coming to work on their own week. So they gave them a special place where they're gonna do their shechita. Also, the sosmos chaloina. Everybody had a window. Their window was sealed, blocked, as a punishment to the family because of such a daughter Bilka. And the Gemara question this: Miriam bas Bilga shemira doso mishum barata kansinalele didei. So the Gemara asked, okay, Miriam bas Bilga, she did something foolish. So because of that, you're punishing the father. What the father has to do with that? She punish her. You know, if it's little children, it's one thing we understand, but it's already adults. Every adult is responsible for himself. You can't punish the father for an adult. Amar Abaye answer in. Yes, we'll punish the father for the child, for the children. The Amra Insha, like people say in Babel, they used to say, Shoyso de Yenuka Bashuka or the Avu or the Ima. When you see a speech, a conversation of a child on the street, it's either coming from the father or the mother. So, if she could speak like this, she called them Mizbeach. One thing, she went away from Yiddishkeit, okay? She went away from Yiddishkeit, she has answered horror. But then to speak like this in the Mizbeach, in such a way, called the Mizbeach Lukus, wolf, to speak in such a disgraceful way to the Mizbeach, it must come from the house. She must have heard this before already. So that's why we're punishing the parents. The Gemara says, okay, right, you want to punish the parents, and because of the parents, the whole family you're punishing. Why? That's how it goes. When a Rasha is suffering, his neighbor suffers with him. When a tzaddik is getting rewarded, his neighbor gonna get rewarded with him. And then we learn this from the way they camped in the Midbar. Bnei Reuven was camping next to Koirach, to the Leviim, the family of Koirach. So they went together with Koirach. A lot of Bnei Reuven got to this machlokes with Koirach. They suffered for him too. At the end, they got punished. And they were a family that was next to Moshe Rabbeinu. And the same thing, Moshe was, that was the Issachar, same thing like Moshe was close to Hashem. They also became B'nai Torah close to Hashem. So, yes, meaning you have influence from your family, and you have an influence from your neighborhood. So that's why it's important where you live and what you hear. Anyway, so what has to do with that? First of all, we see from here, when you hear children speak, obviously the children could pick up something from the parents, they could pick up something from the school, they could pick up something from the neighborhood. Yes, people have influence on others, especially on their own children. And when the children say something, it's an indication, maybe, it's possible. Again, in that case, Chachamim probably said they said it's probably coming from the mishpacha, from the parents. That's why they punished the whole mishpacha for that. Now, but over here, what has to do with here? So that's what has to do with here. What the Torah is teaching us over here, the children are not only geniuses, they pick up what you say. The children are geniuses, they even pick up your thoughts. And they even pick up what's going on inside your heart and mind. They pick it up. The same thing, they pick up a speech, they see something you say, they repeat it, they even know what you think. We brought a raya for this from a Gemara and Shabbos. We brought a raya from Gemara and Shabbos. The Gemara says, Anybody that has candles at home, called a zoyer beneiros, anybody careful with the candles, having lebon in Talmidei Chachamim. You're going to have children Talmidei Chachamim. So Parshas Rashi says we're talking about Ner Shabbos, Ner Chanukah. It's a zgula. If you take it like this, it's a zgula. It's a lot of people like zgula. It's mystical. But we could explain this more not as a zgula. And most zgulas, by the way, could explain more in a very realistic way. Why, when you have a candles at home, the children are going to be Talmidei Chachamim? Without, again, if you take away the mysticism, take away because the olden days, there was no electricity, and people went to sleep early, and they got up early. And what the scholars that wanted to learn did, they bought candles, they spent a lot of money for candles, big candles, and they put the candles on, and they started learning next to the candles. So always by the homes of Talmidei Chachamim, you saw candles because they were learning. They didn't just waste the night, they learned. Especially on the winter nights, a very long night, you don't need to sleep so many hours, some hours of the night they learn. That's what the Gemara says. When kalarogil beneiros, if the father is sitting with the neiros and they're learning at night, the sons see what is important for my father. Well, if he watches TV, he knows that TV is important for him. But he sees the father sitting and learning Torah, he says, if it's so important, I'm going to do this. So kids pick up not only what we say, kids pick up what we think, kids pick up what the way we behave. We have an influence more than just speech. The influence goes even further, b'dibur. And there's a very strong proof for it also. There's a Gemara Maseches Chulin in Daf Zayin. The Gemara says over there, amazing story. The Gemara talks about over here that how holy is the animals of tzaddikim. How holy the Gemara brings one story over there. The Gemara says that Rav Pinchas ben Yair ikla lahu shpiza. He happened to bump in to a place, to a host, to stay there overnight. Romules are lechamre. So they wanted to feed Rav Pinchas ben Yair, but also to feed his donkey. They gave to the donkey barley. That's the food of the donkey. Lo ochal. The donkey refused to eat. They thought maybe it's a finicky donkey, so they nakrinu, chavtinu, lo ochal, nakrinu, lo ochal. They start sifting it, maybe to get rid of some of the dirt, filtering it. Then they start breaking it to small pieces, cleaning it. Yeah, cleaning it. I'm sorry, cleaning it. Lo ochal. Again, good quality barley for the donkey, good quality food, organic. He doesn't want to eat. Omar Luhu, Rav Pinchas ben Yair says his donkey is suffering, doesn't eat supper. He's hungry. He knows he's hungry. He was with him the whole day, Rav Pinchas ben Yair. Omar Luhu, Rav Pinchas ben Yair told to the host, Dilma lama asran asrinu. Dilma lama asran. I'm sorry. Maybe there's no. Maybe there was no meiser. Maybe nobody gave meiser. And it's Eretz Yisrael, you give meiser, trumas and meiser. If there's no meiser, maybe there was no meiser. Maybe that's why the animals don't eat it. So what the host did, Asrinu, the host went, he gave meiser, ve'ochal, the donkey ate. It means after they gave meiser, the donkey ate. Omar, so Rav Pinchas ben Yair said about this donkey, Ani yazu, holeches ratzat retzon koino. The poor donkey going to do what Hashem wanted. Rav Pinchas ben Yair was busy with pidyon shvuim, redeeming people from their imprisonments, pidyon shvuim from jail, taking them out. Said, and the donkey going with him to do retzon koino, to do retzon Hashem. And you're going to give it to it tevel. The Gemara discusses the animal doesn't have to. That's an animal. It's not mechuyev to eat after ma'aser. The Gemara says, yeah, if you prepare the food for people, then you give it to the animal. The animal cannot eat it without ma'aser. So what do we see from this story? We see how holy was the donkey of Rav Pinchas ben Yair. The donkey didn't want to eat if it's not given ma'aser, if it's a tevel without ma'aser. Now you could ask how the donkey knows that. How the donkey knows it's not Ma'usar? What, the donkey is Ruach HaKodesh? People would not know such a thing. People would not know. How the donkey knows it? The answer is the same thing over here. We have such a great influence on our surrounding, parents to the children, the rabbis to their congregants, the teachers to their students. Everybody has some kind of influence on somebody. And this influence a lot more than we think. It could be they're picking up on our speech, they're picking up on our thoughts, on our hearts, they're picking it up. There is some kind of non-verbal communication. And this is what's going on over here in the Tevas Noach. They made a decision to go with their families. What kind of decision the animals could make? Because the Noach, Ubonov, and the Mishpoch of Noach, when they went through such a mabul, to such a destruction and purification, such a tshuva throughout the seer in the Teva, that tshuva, what they did, there's only mankind left right now in the Tevas Noach. The mankind did tshuva, meaning, yeah, they did tshuva for the world. The world we have to make sure the world doesn't go back to where it was before the Mabul. It influenced the animals. The animals decided we're going to go with our mishpacha. How the animal know? The animal also sense. Like the Chamoyer of Pinchas ben Yair sense what Pinchas ben Yair wants. He was attuned to him. It was part of him. It had an influence even on his animal. So same thing over here. There was such a level of that shows on the great level of Noach Ubonov and his mishpacha. Yeah, the whole year over there, they reached very high levels. They lived in a very, very spiritual life. They went through a lot. It was not easy journey to be 1 year in inside this box, a small box, everybody crowded over there. That had influence even on the animals. The animals made a decision: we're going to behave better. And this is what we mentioned this many times before. There's a known phenomenon that's called butterfly effect. We mentioned this from the butterfly could fly over here and it could cause a hurricane somewhere else. And now, scientifically, how it works, I don't know. I'm not a scientist. How could the butterfly effect could be the butterfly flies over here and could cause something somewhere else? But that phenomena or an effect of a person could affect others in spiritual level. We could try to explain this a little bit. It says on the Baal Shem Tov that when a tzaddik, he says in Mezhebush, get into anger, kas, that could cause somewhere far away, he said that the goy could go and kill someone else. He got angry over here. He didn't kill anybody. He wasn't thinking of killing anybody. But his anger over here was that butterfly effect caused someone else to go kill somebody. So something could go both ways, not only on a negative way, on a positive way. If you ever cause some positive thought over here, it could cause someone else to do something good. So how does this work? How such a thing works? So it could work in few ways. Before that, I'm going to the Yom Yom of today. It brought from the Baal Shem Tov. One time the Baal Shem Tov heard from his. I mentioned this many times, but I think it's amazing to hear that taught and see how it works practically in our life. One time the Baal Shem Tov saw in his Bes Medrash, he had two very extreme Talmidim. One extreme big Kedoshim Talmidei Chachamim Go'onim, very big people, and some of them very, very extremely simple, Pashut. Some of them didn't know how to read. He was Makarev everybody. So in his shul, you had two groups. You had a group that really knows nothing, but some of them Makarev them, farmers, some of them don't know how to read. And you had big Talmidei Chachamim, big Go'onim, sitting by him, learning by him. So one time in that group of the simple group, one time there was an argument between two Balabatim, and one said to the other, I would cut you like a fish. From anger, I would cut you like a fish. But Baal Shem Tov heard this, he didn't like such an argument. He told the Talmidim, the bigger Talmidim, he told them, put your hands on each other's shoulders, and he put his shoulders on the two Talmidim next to him, and when they put the hands on each other's shoulders, he showed them, many times he used that method, he showed them some vision, and they start screaming, because they saw over there how these two people that fighting, and one said, I'm going to cut you like a fish, they saw how he's cutting him like a fish, they saw him bleeding. And they were scared, they start screaming. Then he took off his shoulder, they came back to this reality, got away from the vision, they saw everything is peaceful, nobody killed anybody. He told them, when this man told his friend, I'm going to cut you like a fish, he says, from every word, there is a poel yotze, there's something happening. We just don't see it over here. But it's happening. So I showed you the way it's happened in a higher world. The way it works, we have generally four worlds, Olam Atzilus, then that's the highest, then the second to it, Bria, then the third one, Yetzirah, and our world, Asiya. Our world is world of action. The world of Yetzirah, it's a world of speech. Over there, when you say something, it's done. In the world of Yetzirah. So when he says, I'm going to cut you like a fish, over there, he did it already. He didn't do it here. It might come down over here now. And Baal Shem Tov picked him up to the higher world of Yetzirah, and he showed them, over there, you cut him like a fish. It might come down now over here. This what you created. And that's what the Zohar HaKadosh says, less kala the misaved. The Zohar HaKadosh says, there's not a sound that's getting lost. It's there somewhere. So the effect might come. So same thing over here. When people make a strong decision, good or bad, it has an effect on somebody, especially when people are down the chain. Like I said, children compared to their parents. student compared to the teachers. They're down the chain. It definitely that goes a chain effect over here on them and affect them. That's why it says over here when they got out of the table, the animals decided they're gonna keep high family values, family standards, because that was the decision of Noach Ubonov, Noach Mishpocha. It's affected them. So we see from here how important is what we say, what we think, and what the effect is of another. I told the story many times to you that one time a chassid came to the Tzemach Tzedek and he told him he's considering divorcing his wife. Tzemach Tzedek told him, why you want to divorce your wife? He told him, we have a lot of problems, disagreement, and he went, the Tzemach was digging more what's going on over there. So he told him he was a big gavir, he was a wealthy man, and he wanted to give tzedakah. And his wife was constantly restricting this, not give over here, or who's this, who's that. He felt like she doesn't let him give tzedakah as much as he wants to give, and that created a lot of problems, and went on and on until it came to the point they decided to get divorced. So Tzedek told him, the Gemara says, Ish ve'isha, we know, it's OCS Yud K, from the Shem Hashem. Ish is Yud, has between Aleph Yud Shin, Ish has the Yud, and Isha has the Hey. So together, when they have Shalom Bayis, it says they have Yud K. If not, it becomes, if you take the Yud and Hey out, it becomes Eish, a fire, Machloikas. But that's the pshat of the Gemara. So Tzedek learned this, Al Pi Chasidis, he says like this. Ish is Yud. Yud, it says it's Chochmah. Chochmah, it says it's Nekuda Be'echal. It's one little Yud, it's Pitzkala, the smallest letter. But in that small letter, the Chochmah has everything in it. It's compact and that small. It's not developed yet. It's not... you don't see the way it's coming out yet. Comes Bina, the Hey is Bina. Bina, it's a big letter. Whatever it's in the Yud, hidden, it's coming in Revelation in Hey, in Bina. So he says, Ish is Yud, meaning what you have in your mind, deep inside you, it's being revealed by your wife. So if your wife telling, I don't want to give tzedakah to this, to that, and then she's giving you a hard time, meaning deep inside, you have this problem. Deep inside. It just, by you it's not revealed, by you it's hidden. It's a Yud, you don't see much, you see a little dot. Because it's a lot to it, but it's not like a film. A film, you don't see the whole big picture yet. It's a little film, but then when you develop it, you see a big picture. So it's being, whatever by you is hidden, by her is being revealed, and that's what you're thinking she's saying. So why you want to divorce her, you're fighting with her, it's you the problem. If you deep inside want to give, she would not be an obstacle to you. You don't want to give really deep inside. You're giving it because people will, I cannot give, what people are going to say, what's going to look like, I'm such a big gavir, I have to give. But if you really deep want to give, she will not bother. So what we see from here, a lot of times, it depends, the higher level we are, again, a husband compared to a wife, parents compared to their children, teachers compared to them. Wherever they thinking it's being what's hidden in their mind, it's being revealed by the children. That's why Bilga, they punished her, because maybe they didn't speak even the way she spoke, but their thought was deep inside their thought, was revealed by Miriam, that's Bilga, more in a revealed way, and sending over here what the Noach Ubonov, when they came to such a strong resolution of we're going to keep high standards in this world, we're going to be tzaddikim, that affected the animals, even the animals accepted, we're going to come out with Mishpach Yisrael.